as a leader, this is something that we all struggle with. I personally have struggled with boundaries many times over the years. And in this video, I'm going to share with you the number one boundary that you absolutely want to make sure that you are protecting as a leader. This boundary is a boundary that so many leaders, regardless of where they are on their leadership journey, whether they are at the beginning of their leadership journey, the middle, or the end, tend to struggle with. So in this video, I'm going to share with you over 20 years of experience, expertise as a C-suite executive, a director, a manager, executive coach, and public speaker that will help you to start developing this boundary that you have to have. If you do not have this boundary set up and protected, I can guarantee you that this boundary will start to impact you later on down your career, and it tends to yield catastrophic results. So if this sounds like something you want to completely avoid, you want to have an amazing career, then you absolutely want to watch this video until the end, because I'm going to share with you the boundary that you have to protect. Now, if you're watching this video at this point, you are likely watching the replay, and thank you so much for being here today. I appreciate you spending a few moments out of your day with me. This is a live, and during the live videos, there's typically a point in time where people start to join. So give me just a few moments. Let me make sure I say hello to everyone. And as soon as I say hello to everyone and greet them, then we'll go into the number one boundary that you need to protect as a leader. Now, if this is the first time that you and I have met each other, hello. My name is Dr. Jacinta. I'm so glad you're with me today. My mission here on this earth is to help you be able to elevate yourself as the leader that stands out from everybody else in the crowd. And the way I do that is by helping you to have elite, high-level communication skills. This means I will help you learn how to communicate under pressure. I will help you learn how to establish your executive presence. I will help you to learn how to handle your emotions under pressure. Everything that comes with leadership that people sometimes are a bit shy of talking about because it's too complicated, that's what I do. I deal with the complicated things. So feel free to reach out to me. You're welcome to contact me for a strategy session in the description below, and I'll be happy to support you, have a brief call with you, and talk to you about where you are. Now, this is going to be a little bit of a different live today, everybody. There's a feature that we have on lives that I have not used, and for many of you who know, I'm here to provide you with some insights. So let me make sure I say hello to everyone. Hello, welcome. How y'all doing today? If you want to know that it's number one boundary you need to master, protect as a leader, then you absolutely want to stay to the end of this video. And if you like this information so far, then feel free to subscribe. All right, Ogford P. Doggy. Hello, welcome. IXO Multic. I believe I said that correctly, but hello, how you doing today? Appreciate you being here. This is going to be a little bit different of a live for me this evening. If this is new for you, I am actually going to start a poll. So let me type a question on here for you all to answer. Give me just a second and let me know what you think is the number one boundary that leaders need to master. Give me just a moment. Okay, let me see. Let me put a couple of options on here. Let's see. Time. And let's make another one on here. And let's put another one. All right, let's put 2. And let's do that. So let me know if you all see my question. Do you see it? Let me know in the comments below if you see the question. Let's see. It says start. Okay, let's see. Bear with me. I appreciate you all so much for your patience. This is something that I'm testing out here on YouTube. Okay, well, it is taking a moment for the question to come up. Let's see. All right, let me delete it and see if I can end it. Okay. All right, this is taking a little longer, so I'll try it again in a minute. So, yes, so let's see what it says. Tia Bonds, hello. Welcome, Tia. Hope you're doing well today. Okay, IXO Multic, Stoicism. This is really important. I'm glad you mentioned that. I think IXO, yes, Multic. This is something to mention. Ogford P. Doggy said, not being arrogant. This is important to establish a boundary also. And I also want to know specifically, what are your thoughts about boundaries? What boundaries do you struggle with right now as a leader that you want to get some additional support with? Let me know in the comments below, because I'll be happy to provide you with some insight that will help you on your journey. Now, before I go into the number one boundary, I want to say hello to Canary Knight. Hello, welcome. Hope you are doing fantastically well today. So the number one boundary that you want to absolutely protect as a leader is your time. And let me explain to you why. As a leader, there are a lot of things that we can recover from. We can recover from someone being disrespectful to us. And if you want to learn more about how to manage someone being disrespectful, stay with me. I'm going to do another live in just a little while after I finish this one. We can recover from someone being disrespectful. We can recover from a mistake that we make as leaders. We can also recover from any complex situations where we have to basically do damage control. We can recover from that. However, we cannot recover our time. This is the reason why time, leaders, is the most important boundary that you have to protect. Because time, unlike money, unlike mistakes, unlike some other challenge that comes up, we can't recover that back. We cannot get that back. So when you are thinking about being a leader and what you want to do as a leader, how you can protect your boundaries, a lot of times what happens is people forget to protect the time boundary. So what happens when you protect the time boundary? What happens if you don't protect it? What will happen is that people will start taking away your time for random things and random projects that really are not helping you move forward. And so before I go into that more, let me say hello to those who are here. Lord Acton, hello, welcome. I appreciate you saying hello, appreciate you. Edits Jay, hello, welcome. Hope you're doing well. And let me know if you all have struggled with time boundaries. Let me know. I have personally struggled with time boundaries. What happened to me is that I was working too much. And so what happens a lot of times is when you work too much or you let other people control your time, you end up not having time for yourself. Now, if you like this information and this has been helpful to you so far, feel free to subscribe. This is what I talk about on my channel. I talk about ways to elevate yourself as a leader. I focus very heavily on communication because people become great by how they communicate. So my role here on this YouTube channel and with my business is to help unlock the greatness within you. Now, as I mentioned, time is something you can't buy back. You cannot buy your time back. So what can you do as a leader to help protect your time? What are some things that you all think that leaders can do to protect their time? Let me know in the comments below what your thoughts are. And while you're doing that, let me take a look at the comments, and I'm going to try to do a poll here in just a minute. Let's see how it works out again when I'm testing out with YouTube. Okay, so IXO Multic says, Edits J. Oh, okay. I see what Edits J said. Okay, well, Edits J, that's your personal opinion. And as I mentioned in one of my videos yesterday, actually, we here on YouTube, this is what happens. And I'm telling you all, this is really what happens on the creator side of things. We will always... IXO Multic, let me tell you, we will always have people that come onto our channels, right? They come onto our channels. They'll say rude things. They'll say disrespectful things. They always, IXO Multic, just so you know, because I know you were trying to counteract EdXJ's really not nice comment, I would say, but they always come and say something about being, someone's appearance. That's the first thing people talk about when they're commenting, is they talk about, oh, your appearance, oh, you look ugly, or your hair don't look nice, or your makeup looks off. They always comment like this. And you know what happens as creators? We don't really worry about it. And this I want to showcase to y'all is how you manage people that make unfriendly comments to you in terms of your executive presence and how you communicate. It is Jay. That's your personal opinion. If you don't like something that I have on or my appearance, that's your personal opinion. But ultimately, I'm actually here to serve leaders and help them elevate. So if you are one of those individuals that is commenting on random stuff, then that's your personal opinion. This may not be the place for you, because I'm actually here to build leaders. I'm not here to have a drama on my YouTube channel. I actually do not do that. So this is how you handle people when you are in the middle of a conversation, because you still want to be polite. You still want to acknowledge, okay, they said something inappropriate, or maybe that you don't agree with. But ultimately, there's another place for It Is Jay, right? There's another place for It Is Jay to go. It Is Jay can go to another channel and be a troll. That's fine. But ultimately here, I'm not interacting or engaging with that or going back and forth, because I'm here to actually support leaders. This is how you manage and develop and showcase your executive presence. You cannot let people, even when they say mean comments to you that are may hurt your feelings, you can't let that emotion that comes up a lot of times come out. You just can't. Executives are the people that are able to keep their cool under pressure. So if I was the person that was showcasing and teaching you all secrets to executive presence, how you handle executive presence, how you develop it, how you showcase it, and etc., and how you take it to the next level, I would look response from It Is Jay. I would be really, really ridiculous. How would you learn from me? So I want to show you all, the more that my channel grows, the more people that come on. I have people that comment this and comment that. This is what happens when people come on your channels and have a faceless YouTube channel. Does It Is Jay have a YouTube channel? Who knows? But most of the time, it's the people that don't have a forward-facing YouTube channel that come and make comments like that. So IXO Multic, I appreciate you for trying to counteract that. I appreciate you. All right, Alexa Posada, hello, welcome, welcome. Hope you're doing fantastically well today. So we've talked about the number one boundary that you have to protect as a leader, and that is your time. Your time is the only resource, only one that you have that you cannot replenish back. You cannot replenish back someone that wastes your time. You cannot replenish back someone trying to give you a hard time and make you spend too much of your energy on a project when you need to be working on, let's say, a bigger task, specifically as a leader. You cannot get your time back. So I want you all to really start mastering this. And the reason I mention it specifically here on my channel is because I'm here to elevate you as a leader. And that means in many aspects of leadership, not only communication, which is my strong focus here on my channel is communication, but also as a leader. I struggled with this. I worked way too many hours. And when I worked too many hours, I completely became burnt out, and I was not in a good place. I was very frustrated, very tired. I didn't want to do anything, and I don't want that to happen to either one of you. And the reason why it happened to me is because I made the mistake and did not protect my time boundary. So I want you all to learn from my personal mistakes. I teach my clients this in our one-on-one sessions also, to make sure that you protect this number one boundary. If you don't protect any other boundaries, everything else we can recover from, but your time we cannot replace. So when someone tries to take you away from a project you're working on, or someone tries to make you stay late at work when you need to be leaving and you need to spend time with your family, you have to do a stop. There has to be a timeout. No, I'm sorry, I have to go take care of my family, my children, whatever else you have going on. I would add one bonus to you. Now I'm going to take a look and see, because I saw something popped up in the chat. The bonus in this situation would be, I want you to all to make sure that you're consistent with protecting your time. So if you have a lot of things that are happening and you're trying to develop your time boundary, if you are not consistent with developing your time boundary, people will start to pick up on it, and they'll slowly but surely start to just eat away at that time. And they'll say, oh, I know she can stay a few minutes later, or he can stay a few minutes later. And they will try to do things like that, especially when you're trying to, let's say, go home and do something. So really be consistent with your time boundaries. So I want to know from you all, what are your thoughts about time boundary? Is this something that you've seen other people struggle with? Or maybe you struggle with it. I personally have. Let me know in the comments below. All right, so IXO Multic says, so I give a lot of importance to other people's opinions. Well, in this case, I appreciate what you were saying in terms of what the comment that Edit J said. I don't appreciate what Edit J said, but that's Edit J's thoughts. That's fine. But I would say in this case, I appreciate you mentioning it, because sometimes it happens on YouTube channels where people will say things that are not nice. I'll have other viewers that will try to say something to them to say, okay, well, maybe that's not necessarily the case. So I appreciate you so much for saying something about that. Now I'm going to try to see if I can do a poll again. Let me see how this works. Let's see. I'm going to ask you all a question. Give me just a moment. I'm typing a question on here. I'm trying to test out these options here and see what happens to start the Q&A. Okay. There's a couple things on YouTube, and as for some of you that are new to my channel or maybe new to me, I am on the YouTube's live streamer research panel. They invited me to do this previously, and earlier this year. So I'm going to be on the panel for an entire year. And so they did this because I've been doing so many lives that YouTube has noticed I've done so many lives. So this is a lot of this attributes to me being present, but also you all engaging also. So this is the reason why I want to test out some of their features so I can provide them with some support. So give me just a second. Let me ask a question to you all. And I'm typing a question in, so let's see if it comes up. Let's see. Okay, so let me know if this all comes up for you all. Oh, I did. Okay, so the question comes up. So let's see if it'll let me move the question. For some reason, it's like at the top of my head. I don't know why YouTube has it like that. They should allow you to move it around. But anyways, what are some of your biggest challenges that you're facing right now as leaders? I want to know in the comments below. Feel free to click on, you probably can click on answer and be able to answer what are some of your biggest challenges in that case. So let me see. IXO Multic, I'll watch your other videos then. Yes, absolutely. So I have IXO Multic, I have a very heavy focus on helping individuals go next level in their careers, and a lot of it is the way we communicate. So specifically on my channel, since you mentioned that you may watch a few other videos, let me know what are some topics that you're interested in. I focus on the hard topics. So I'm known for dealing with more complicated, more challenging situations. So handling yourself under pressure, handling your emotions under pressure, how to think on your feet, and how to develop your executive presence, how to speak like a leader, public speaking. So that's really what I focus on as it relates to my channel. These skills I share with my audience are skills that can be applied to any scenario. You could be in a board meeting and you need to showcase your executive presence and need to communicate at a higher level. You may be going into an interview and you want to make sure that you are presenting yourself as that best person. You may be in a situation where you are trying to transition into a new role or new promotion, and you need to be able to speak at the higher level. So that's really what I focus on. So there's a lot of great information here. IXO Multic, I appreciate you being here today, and ask me any questions that you have as it relates to leadership. I'll be able to support you any way that I can on my journey. And if you have topics that while you're watching some of the videos that come up for you, and maybe you want to have more information about it, I will do a video just for you, and I will give you a shout out in the video based on your question as it relates to professional development. So you just let me know what you need support with, and I will do what I can to help you here on YouTube. Okay, so IXO Multit says, wow, interesting question. Yes, I do want to know what are some of your biggest challenges right now, especially as leaders, because this is something that is very, very challenging for people to navigate. Sometimes we don't take the time to really think about what is really stressing me out right now. And this is the reason why a lot of people start to feel overwhelmed, because they don't take that time. And that's really what happens in an executive coaching space, is that we take the time to help you find time to really become more aware of yourself so that you can overcome those challenges. So IXO Multic says, would you believe me if I told you that I have become very pessimistic and nihilistic? Okay, so if you have become pessimistic, my question to you as an executive coach would be, why? What has happened to make you become more pessimistic? There's probably something that has happened in some at some point in time that has made you maybe not as optimistic as you would like to be. Now, let me see what the response is. And I'm actually going to I wish that YouTube, and this is something I'm going to give them feedback on, when we ask questions. Oh, there it goes. Okay. Now I can move it. Okay. I hope do you all see the question? Do you see? I guess, yes, you do, because IXO Multic said he saw the question. So thank you for your patience. I'm trying to interact with the audience a bit more with some of the things that YouTube has. So I want to be able to use some of that to engage with you all. Okay, so IXO Multic says, I don't know if the pandemic made me like this. Well, that's a really good point and a good question. The pandemic brought out a lot in so many people, a lot of wonderful things, and a lot of challenges and struggles that we maybe weren't really dealing with. So if the pandemic made you feel like this, from my perspective, if I was your executive coach, I would want to know, if the pandemic made you feel like this, what are some of the things that make you feel happy? And it could be something personal to you. You don't necessarily have to put it in the chat unless you want to. It's completely up to you. But that's what I would want to know, is what makes you happy. So in a coaching type of setting, our goal is to help you move forward on your goals faster than you would by yourself. And the ways that we do that is we go through advanced training programs. There's exercises that we do. Specifically, I use neuro-linguistic programming with my clients, and also visualization exercises. But ultimately, our goal is to help you get to that next place. And sometimes we can't actually get to the next place until we have went back to figure out, why are we this way? So the fact that you even brought this up, I just commend you for that, because that obviously is a challenge when you're feeling not as positive or not as optimistic as you used to be. And so just the fact that you even mentioned that, I really appreciate that, because it is very challenging, especially after the pandemic, trying to navigate through some of the things that we all are going through every single day. So let me see what you said. So IXO Multic says, my job has never satisfied. I do it because I get paid. Well, I understand. I mean, a lot of people do the same thing, IXO Multic. A lot of people do. So IXO Multic says, but I don't have a sad personality. Okay, so one thing you may want to consider and think about is what you mentioned. And I know this is a bit off topic from boundaries, but boundaries sometimes play into why we feel pessimistic too, because there's some boundary that you're feeling or experiencing right now that is being crossed. and you're not able to protect it. So we have to figure out, well, what is it? So I know you mentioned about your job is not really satisfying, but you do it to get paid. So is there something else that you could potentially research or maybe look into that may leave you feeling more fulfilled, that would still be able to compensate you in a way that you can still take care of yourself or your family or anything else you have going on? So you might want to think about that. Okay, so IXO Multic says, I like reading Camus Ciron. I don't know if I'm saying that correctly. Satire, Caraco, Fatalist writers. Okay, so what about writing a book? Would that make you feel happy? Something to think about. If you like reading books like that, then maybe you could write your own book. One of the things I'll mention to you also is what I've done with my clients in the past is, when I have clients that are in situations where they're working at jobs and this is just where they have to be for the time being because this is just where they are, then I encourage them to find what makes them happy. What is it that makes you really, really happy? Because if you can try to weave that into your schedule in some type of way, what makes you feel happy, even while you're working at a job that's not really satisfying you, then what can we do to start helping you to feel not as pessimistic in your role? Maybe it's the reading, as you mentioned. You have a lot of writers that you read and a lot of things like that. So maybe try to find that time to read. Maybe it might be helpful to read more, or what amount of reading makes you feel like happy. You might want to think about that. How much time out of a week do you need to feel happy? Maybe the job you're at right now, depending on the job or the role you have, maybe it's going into your personal life. Maybe there's some hard cutoffs you may have to do as it relates to that time boundary that I talked about at the very beginning. Or even if you have a lunch break. Sometimes people during lunch breaks, they don't spend them the most productive ways. So there's a lot of different aspects that we could potentially think about when you are feeling not as happy in your career, but you have to be at a job because you have to pay your bills and you have to get paid. But there comes a point in time where we have to figure out, well, what can we do to help you feel more fulfilled in your job, even if you're working at a job you're not entirely satisfied with working at, but you're just trying to pay some bills. So that's something just to keep in mind. So IXO Multic says, do you know I study the career history and contemporary society? Okay, great. That literature satisfies me. Okay, fantastic. Well, that is something to really think about, because it sounds like, from what you are telling me, you are a very studious person. You're very studious, you're very intelligent, you learn a lot. I can just pick that up just by what you're telling me, because if you like reading and you're studying, then you obviously are very studious. You want to learn, you want to do more. So I would say, let's use that very strong strength about yourself, use it as leverage to help you do something else that will make you feel more fulfilled in your job, that will still compensate you for what you're doing. It could be starting your own business. It could be writing a book. It could be so many things. And it really comes down to what's most important to you. But it's something I would think about. You have a lot of skills to work with. So let's use those skills to help you have a more fulfilled life. That's what I would highly recommend. You have a lot going for yourself. I can tell. I've been in the leadership world for over 20 years. So I've done like hundreds of resumes. I've done hundreds of interviews. I've just done a lot. So I've interacted with a lot of people. I've interacted with congressional leaders here in the United States, where I'm based out of. And so when I see interactions with individuals and when they say certain things, I can pick up pretty quick, like, okay, you have this, you have this, you have this. And so you have a lot of talents, you have a lot of skills, you're very intelligent. So let's find out what can we do to bring all that intelligence that you have to help you to feel more fulfilled in your role. Okay, so IXO Multic says, for me, happiness is just a path of ups and downs, or as a wise man said, happiness is like fog. When you come out of it, is when you know you were in it. And you put the thinking emoji. That is very, 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 very much a good good summary of what you are trying to say. So that is very interesting perspective about happiness. Now let's all think about that. But I'm going to read it again actually. For those of you who are watching now or going to be watching the replay, let's read this comment, because on the replay you can't actually see the chat. Live you can, but sometimes on the replay you really can't see that. And I don't know on the replay if you can see what are your biggest challenges. That is a question I have as a poll. So let me know in the comments below, what are your biggest challenges? So let me read that again. So IXL Multic said, for me, let's think about what was said and let's see what our thoughts are on it. Okay, for me, happiness is just a path of ups and downs. Or as a wise man said, happiness is like fog. When you come out of it is when you know you were in it. What are your all thoughts about that? Let me know in the comments below. I think that's a very insightful comment that you read. I'm sure you read it somewhere from a wise man. I'm sure you read it in all of your studies. But that's a very good insight. And I like that, because oftentimes when people were happy, when you start to feel like boundaries are being crossed, like we talked about a little bit in the video, or you start to feel not happy in your role, we start to reflect on something doesn't feel right. It's like something really does not feel right in the role that we're in. And then from there, that's when we start to see, well, I was a bit happier when I was doing this job, or I was happier when I was at this organization, or I was happier when I was in this location. So that is something to keep in mind. I appreciate you so much for bringing that up, because this is very helpful and it's very insightful for us to all think about, especially from my perspective as an executive coach. Thinking and self-awareness is something to really take as seriously as you can, because that's how you grow. And so I would say for everyone watching the video or watching the replay, think about the comment that IXL Multic said, and what are your thoughts about that? And if you're not quite sure of what you're thinking, then let's answer this question. What makes you happy? Think about it. What really makes you happy as a professional? Take a few moments, get a pen, get a paper, and write down those things that make you feel happy. Because a lot of times we're so busy in the day-to-day of our work, of our jobs, and etc. We do not take that time to understand what actually makes us feel happy. So write down what makes you feel happy and think about it. If you feel like you're in the fog, or you're getting out of the fog, and you're looking back and saying, oh gosh, I don't like where I'm at right now. I don't like it. I'm not happy. Then think about where you were in terms of your happiness, and how can you get back there? What is the fastest way that you can get back there, right? That's what I would definitely recommend as an executive coach. Okay, so IXL Multic says, wow, thanks for the flowers. Absolutely, no problem at all. Thank you. I appreciate your comment about my smile. Thank you so much. Said it was a pretty smile. Thank you. And Paulo Soelo, I did not pronounce that correctly, didn't say it. Okay, so ultimately, boundaries are so important. They're so incredibly important. And if you have any topics that you want to talk about, or you want to learn more about, especially as it relates to enhancing yourself as leaders, let me know. And as many of you know, from my perspective, I'm an executive coach also. And the way I help my clients is not only through consultation, helping them be able to speak at a higher level, do very well in their interviews, or be able to present or public speak in front of a group of people at conferences and etc. But executive coaching is a part of what I do also. And executive coaching is some of those questions I asked you before that cause you to think. That's why coaching, or working with a coach, is extremely important for you to help you move forward. Now, I would say working with a coach, but it depends on the coach. There's a lot of coaches out there that are maybe not in the right field or right area they should be in. Let me explain to you why. There's many people out here that talk about doing different things. But what I've found, even in the coaching industry, and I'm an executive coach also, is that what happens is sometimes people will work with clients in a specific topic, but they have not lived it themselves. And sometimes I've heard back from clients that I actually work with that have worked with some coaches in the past, and they'll say, my coach really just didn't get it, or they didn't quite get me to where I needed to be, or I didn't feel like they understood what I was going through. That's why it's very important that you're very selective about who you work with as a coach. You have to work with someone that has actually been through what you have been through or have some deep understanding of it. And so on my channel, I specifically talk about real strategies, real situations and scenarios that come up as leaders. This is not the channel where I'm going to talk about the leadership model of situational leadership is this, or I'm going to give you a long definition that's this long of what executive presence is, or I'm going to talk to you about hypotheses and theories as it relates to leadership. That's not my channel. I'm going to share with you, this is what really happens in the real world. I have been in very friendly situations. I've been in extremely contentious situations, and this is why I want to share with you those next level skills so that the next time when you're communicating in front of a group of your peers, or you're communicating for a business meeting, or you're communicating in a board meeting or an interview, or wherever you are, that when people hear you speak, they say, wow, this person is very intelligent, they're very sharp, I want to learn more from them. That's what I want to do. That's how I want to help you go to that next level, and I hope you all subscribe to my channel. All right, so IXL Multic says, happiness is something very big. I prefer to say being happy, joyful, but not happy. Well, being happy is very big, and happiness is something that we all have to work on. And so IXL Multic says, happiness is to reach the nirvana. Understood, definitely. Yes, so IXL Multic says, okay, are you in the USA? Yes, I am based out of the USA. I am in the Sunshine State of Florida. All right, and IXL Multic says I am in a third world. Well, that's okay. I mean, that's all right. We are all in different parts of our journey in different locations. The wonderful thing that I have to say that brings us together is who we are as peoples, and our own unique specific situations we've dealt with, and then the internet, because it gives us the ability to connect with each other regardless of where you are or what country you're from. This is the wonderful thing that I really enjoy about YouTube Live and live streaming, because I get to interact with other people in other countries, which helps to enrich our experiences here just on Earth. It's always great to hear from other individuals, their take, their perspective on different aspects. And I appreciate you so much for bringing up the topics that you mentioned in terms of the quotes. They're very helpful and very inspirational. So I'm hoping that our conversation here allowed you to maybe think about some of those things that you like to do that help you to feel happy, and so that you can hopefully start diving into those. As I mentioned, maybe you write your own book one day. You're doing a lot of reading now. What's stopping you from doing that? So it's just something to think about. It's something to think about, just to get you into that more positive space. So I think that would be very helpful. So, okay, IXL says, I made you smile. Yes, that is correct. And saying that in Mexico could hurt sensitivities. Well, I would say we're just having a conversation, and hopefully not, but I do believe that your comment about happiness is like a fog is something that is something to think about, because I do believe that a lot of times what happens is people forget that they were happy until they're out of it. I think that's a very, very good insight. That's a very good insight, very powerful insight to share on the live today. And sensibilities. Okay, understood. Thank you so much. So if you're watching the replays or you're still watching the lives, let me know what are some things that you're struggling with right now. What are some challenges you're facing? I'm actually going to be putting a couple videos together. So for those of you who are new to me and to the channel, I go live Tuesday through Fridays, usually in the evening times. Friday nights is when I have a bit more time to be live, which is today is Friday night. Thank goodness it's Friday, right? So today is Friday night here. And so I have a little bit more time on Friday nights to go through Ask Me Anything, or if you need some specific support, just let me know. So I go live Tuesday through Thursdays, and my channel focuses heavily on communication and really helping you to articulate yourself and go to that next level in terms of how you communicate. The audiences that I specifically work with are women in leadership, but I have a lot of men in leadership that follow my channel also. And the information I'm sharing with you as it relates to leadership transcends gender. It doesn't matter if you're a male or a female. This is just you being a leader. And so there's a lot of great value that's here on the channel. I support and help anyone that I can. I've done videos from many people on my channel so far about topics that they want to learn more about. So if there's something that you really are wanting to elevate yourself on and really get to that next level in terms of your career, or you maybe have a really hard situation, a difficult conversation, you're trying to figure out, well, how can I have that with an employee or with a coworker, etc., then just let me know in the comments below. Watch the video and just say, I would like to learn more information about this. And I will do a video just for you and give you a shout out on it. And I'll make sure I post it on my communities page. There's a couple things going on with my business here. I mentioned this in a previous video. One, there's a graphic that's going to be coming out within the next 1 to 2 weeks. I'm going to share with you all so that you all can let me know what you think about it, if you like it, or if you think I need to go in a different direction. That'll be helpful. And then I'm updating some of my business contact information. So I'll have my business cell phone number. Email address is still the same, but you'll see some minor changes to contact information. And then you'll also see a couple of different types of videos. I'm going to start going back into my recorded videos, meaning that what I'm trying to do here is, if you have any world leaders, any leaders, regardless of where you are in the world, that inspire you or motivate you, if there are videos of them, just let me know who the leader is and I'll try to find something. Why am I asking you for the leaders that motivate and inspire you? Let me share with you why. What I'm going to be doing on my channel in my recorded videos that will be coming out here relatively soon, I'm going to take a look at the videos of the leaders that are inspiring you and motivating you. When I look at their videos, I'm going to do an analysis of how they communicate as speakers and what are some of the strategies and techniques that they are doing in their speeches, in their conversations with the audience that are inspiring them, and help you to see those techniques and strategies so that you can use them in your everyday conversations so that you can be that person that really stands out from other people. What I found that helps a lot of individuals, especially when they're trying to become better speakers and better communicators, is that you just need someone to show you what to do. How do you speak this way? What are some strategies you should do? And so that's what these videos would do. So if you have any world leaders, regardless of where you are in the world, as long as the leader has some video, there's some videos that maybe are translated, or even if it's not translated, I'll look at how they're conducting themselves in terms of their body language. If it's not translated into English, just let me know some leaders so I can start doing some videos for you. I have a couple leaders requested already so far. I have a few. So I'm going to start working on those videos, and it'll be a great opportunity for you to start learning from people that are communicating at a higher level in terms of what you can do in your everyday conversations, in your board meetings, in your leadership meetings, in your conversations with your team, and etc., on how you can really start to communicate at that higher level, and by adapting some of those strategies that they're doing when they're speaking. This is something that I have done quite a bit. I did this when we had the presidential debate here in the United States last year. I did a video of the debate. I did just a couple of examples of the two candidates speaking and what they were doing specifically that would emphasize their message, or maybe something that took away from it that they probably didn't need to do. So it'll be that type of format, but it'll be specifically for the leader that you were requesting me to review. So IXO Multic says, I'll watch them. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. And IXO Multic says, leader, but I like to follow others. I wouldn't like to take them to the precipice. So what I've found that's helpful, IXO Multic, is, for instance, when you have someone, and you don't have to follow every single thing because you want to be your own person, right? You absolutely want to be your own person. Now, add to that is that if there's someone that specifically inspires you, there are things, there are words, there's something that they're saying that is inspirational to you. So I want to bring out whatever it is that is inspirational to you and to showcase it to everyone else. So when, let's say for instance, if you have a presentation you're doing a presentation with a group of people, or you're talking to some board members, or you're talking to a business partner. If you are having that conversation, you can use different strategies and techniques as speakers to help make you stand out from everybody else. That's what I'm referring to. So for instance, I'll give you an example. The first person that I have a message that someone wants me to review, and this came up on my LinkedIn Live, is Michelle Obama. So that's somebody that they were mentioning. Can you please review Michelle Obama? So I'll look at some of her videos and I'll analyze and say, okay, this is the reason why she could be inspirational. These are some strategies you may want to take into account when you're speaking and communicating with other people. Because most of the time, people listen to inspirational speakers and motivational speakers and they say, oh, they were so inspirational, so motivational. And that's great. But if you're watching my channel or subscribe to my channel, I'm taking you to the next level. I don't want you to be the spectator that says, oh, he's inspirational, she's inspirational. I want you to be the person that is inspirational to other people. I don't want you to be just a spectator, unless you want to be. But typically the people that are subscribed to my channel are really the high achievers that are trying to go to the next level in terms of how they're communicating. So I want you to be the person that's inspiring everybody else, not the other way around. So that's the reason why, and that's the first person that I'll be reviewing because that was the first request that I received. So hopefully that gives you some insight so you have an idea as to what that would look like just for you. Okay, IXO Multi says, do you know, but I believe in God and entity, Spinoza's God. So I appreciate you so much for sharing that. That is already very, very helpful. It's always great to just acknowledge, where you believe and what you believe. And I think that's amazing. Thank you so much for really sharing that. And IXO Multi says, I have already subscribed. Well, awesome. Great. Well, welcome to the group of leaders that communicate at a higher level than their peers. So definitely feel free to ask any questions you have, especially as it relates to leadership or really trying to communicate at the higher level. I guarantee you, watching the videos, you will learn something. You will learn something that you may have not thought about before, especially as it relates to how you communicate, your executive presence, and etc. Because this is what I do. This is my mission here on earth, is to help you become that amazing leader. And the way for me to help you do that is to help you communicate at the higher level than your peers, because people become great by how they communicate. If you don't communicate, no one knows how great you are. So that is not only in the verbal sense, but also in the written sense as well. So there's a couple other things that are going to be happening here. Also, I have a podcast I'm going to be launching here before the end of the year. There's a book that I'm writing also on executive presence. So that has been in the works for a little while. When it will be released, I don't have the exact date yet, but there is a book on executive presence that is going to be out there. Many of you know how I feel about executive presence. I can talk about it literally all day long. So this is going to be a book to help everybody else. So IXO Multi says, I like your words. Well, thank you. I have been developing my public speaking voice for a very, 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 very long time, over 20 years. Public speaking, communication are things that are strategies and techniques that I take extremely seriously. So seriously that I have been on the news. I've spoken to congressional leaders. I have became a distinguished Toastmaster with Toastmasters International. And this is a public speaking organization where they typically have about 1% of their 358,000 members worldwide that actually accomplish this award. So I take speaking to that next level, and that's what I want to do with my audience to help them go to the next level also. So if you want to reach out to me, contact me at Dr. Jacinta Lamantine on LinkedIn or at Excite Excellence on Instagram. And then of course, I'm here on YouTube as well. And what I'm going to be doing here in just a few is I'm testing out a second live. As I mentioned earlier, I'm on YouTube's live streamer research panel. And with that, there's a lot of live streaming that I do. So there's another live I'm going to be doing here very soon. It talks about a different topic. So let me know if you have any questions or if you're interested in it. If not, then I will see you all in the next video, either later to this evening or next week when we start back again. And so IXO Multic says, nihilistic leader. Okay, understood. Well, I appreciate you, IXO Multic, for being present today and really engaging, having some really great discussion. Always helpful to be able to communicate with other individuals and learn their perspectives and to really have that conversation. And this is one of the things that actually happens on my live streams often, is we'll have a topic, a focused topic that we talk about, and then the conversation goes into a different direction that is just as insightful and just as impactful. So I really appreciate you spending time with me this evening and talking about several things that were very insightful and just having a really great discussion. The individuals that watch the live replays will appreciate some of the topics and some of the actual quotes that you mentioned before while we were communicating earlier. So this is what I do. We've talked about picking kids up at school. We've talked about Bitcoin. We've talked about generating additional streams of income. We've talked about how to generate revenue. We've talked about how to build your YouTube channel, your YouTube audience. This live space is a lot of fun because sometimes we definitely, I still keep focused. Now I know a lot of other content creators, when they go live, they get distracted and they go off somewhere else. But I still keep it focused. I know what we talked about, but I do welcome the opportunity to be able to engage with my audience and talk about other things. So just know that lives are fun. They're meant to be fun. If you're watching any of my previous lives, you're always welcome to just fast forward if there's a part that's maybe not relevant to the topic, but I'm having a conversation with someone. You're welcome to do whatever you need to do. And feel free to share this with anyone that may need some support in terms of how they're communicating and you want them to be at that next level too. This is really the elevation. Like if you want to be that person. And I'm not talking about the person that's just living life, is just going through day in, day out. No, I'm talking about being the person that is here or even here or above my phone, that high level. Then this is definitely the channel you want to be at, because this is the type of strategies I share with my audience every single day when I am present. So IXO Multic says, maybe it wasn't a coincidence that I came across your live. Absolutely. I'm glad that you're here, and I'm glad that you're able to see it, because what happens on the YouTube side of things, now that I've been live streaming for months now, and I've been doing it so much now, is that YouTube will push my video out to different people. And as my channel grows, because my channel has grown significantly, it's still a small channel, but I'm grateful for every single subscriber I have. But as my channel grows, and I've seen this growth, and I'm actually going to do a video on this probably on a Saturday morning when my kids are asleep. But I'm going to do a video specifically on how to start growing your YouTube channel. But I do want to say that they push it out to different people. And so what's happening now on my YouTube channel is that I'm going from being seen in the vertical live feed. It pushes it out a couple of times. And then I'm going from there to now I'm going into people's up next, like what they're watching. So it depends on what type of content you're watching on YouTube. It is something that they're pushing out to people now based on what they're seeing. So I'm just glad you're here. I mean, I'm always glad to have great individuals, very intelligent individuals, just as yourself. You're very studious. I mean, you're studying, you're reading, you're very intelligent. And that's the exact type of individuals that are on my channel and that subscribe to my channel are the individuals that are very, 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 very intelligent, very sharp, and are trying to grow. And so I welcome you here. I'm glad that you're here. Alrighty, so IXO Multic says, the incredible thing is that I'm here along with you and hear you. Absolutely. Well, the thing about the lives, believe it or not, even if it's just us watching right now, it goes out to the replay. So I have my replay audience that will watch the live videos also. And so even though it may just be the two of us at the moment, there's other people that actually will be watching the live video, be watching the replay of the live. As soon as I end it, it goes into my public feed where my replay audience watches it. And so they'll watch it outside of that. Because oftentimes with lives, our live has been going on for 53 minutes now. So the lives themselves, they have their live views, but after you're done, you make them a part of your channel. So most of the time, people may not be able to join. It's Friday evening. A lot of people are out and about doing other things, and they may watch it on another day. So even though we're just interacting right now, most of the time, people watch it outside of the actual lives. They'll watch it at a different time. And that's just from my experience working with YouTube. I've seen how that process works. But appreciate you being here today. Appreciate you subscribing to the channel. Really absolutely look forward to interacting with you in other videos. And if you have any questions as you're going through videos and etc., feel free to absolutely let me know. Just put it in the comments. I do take a look at my comments, and that is something that I will be able to give you some insight and provide you with a video that will help you professionally as you're elevating in your career. All right, IXL says is, so it says, okay, the IXL Multic in the tall, I think maybe, language means the one with a, so I don't know what that means, that word. Okay, so that I don't know, but I appreciate you sharing it with me. And absolutely, thank you for your words also. I appreciate that comment, and I appreciate you being here today. So looking forward to seeing you all soon. If you have any questions in the replay, let me know. I'm going to do another video in a few moments. So that video is specifically going to be about how to handle when someone disrespects you. So if you want to learn more about that, that is something that I will share with you. Okay, so IXL Multic says, not in a halto. I need to know I should know how to say that because I know some Spanish, but there's a language originally from Mexico. Okay, interesting. Well, thank you for sharing that. I see, as I mentioned, very intelligent. There's a lot of great information that you have to share. So feel free to come back to the lives anytime. Glad to have you here. All right, awesome. Well, I hope you all have a fantastic day, and I will see you either later this evening or I will see you next week. Bye for now.